I totally lost my pain completely. But as long as I was living in the fear place and in the I don't want this place, rather than being curious about it, I was perpetuating it and making it worse. So there are ways to use mindfulness to work with pain so that you severely reduce the amount of suffering and maybe even the pain itself.
Go ahead.
Cool.
No, go ahead.
During the exercise, I also thought of wanting, but in a different context. I thought of 3 situations that came up, and I got kind of clarity on it. The first situation, I thought I wanted something, and I was completely intimidated to go out and ask for it and try and get it.
Yeah.
I got chastised by my friends. Like with the Wayne Gretzky theory that, if you never take the shot, you're never going to get a goal.
Right.
So, I incorporated all that, I got all crazed behind it, and then I realized that the intimidation was really discernment telling me not to go there. That I really didn't want this and I would be damaged if I went out there. The second situation last week, I thought I wanted something else, but I was confused. I jumped in and asked for it, and I was shocked to get it, and I was really disturbed when I got it because I decided I'm going to be in bigger trouble, and it eventually worked out that it didn't happen. Then the other night, I was listening to someone complaining, and I just decided I had enough, and I asked, but I sort of did more than ask. I said, we should do this. And again, I'm shocked that person backed up and said, yeah. And then I thought about it and I said, well, I don't know if I want this. The bigger issue is not the want. For me, it was the fear of asking and the consequences. So the want was just camouflaging this issue of putting myself out and being vulnerable. And the results became unimportant.
Yes. Yes. But what you got was wisdom. You started to see, okay, it's not about getting the thing. It's about seeing what my mind is doing, seeing how the intimidation was being created because I really didn't want that and it was going to be harmful to me, or the wanting was becoming paramount in my mind, but really what was happening was I didn't really want that. But, just to watch and see all those circumstances, how they unfold, you get to realize, oh, this is how my mind is working. And the more you watch that and the more you learn how your mind works, the more you can become curious the next time a wanting arises. And before you act on it, you investigate it and you say, what is this about? What's really here? And when you practice mindfulness, you get stronger in your ability to check in and see what's really there. And to say, okay, is there fear here? Is there intimidation? Is there confusion? Is there wanting? It's beautiful.
So this last part kind of came up during this brief period of meditation. Just saying, like, the result really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's great. Did you have a question?
I was just wondering, if the end goal is if you can become aware, if you're mindful of what you're wanting and not wanting, if somehow you can make, I guess you were talking about in the beginning, intentive decisions to go after that want or stay away from that not wanting in the long run.
Right.
Is that sort of then manifesting your wants and your desires? In a way, I don't know if you're mindfully going after the thing, saying, okay, I'm just thinking I want this. Now, what can I do to get to that?
Yeah, I think that the first step is to notice the wanting and to see if it would be beneficial to go after it or not. Kind of like the wanting that I had with the crush on that retreat. Like, no, this is not something I can or should act on. So the problem with wanting is we become very much compulsive about going after what we want. We become hooked into the wanting. We can become addicted. You know, you want something sweet and you know it wouldn't be good for you, but you can't not have the sweet because the wanting is so powerful.
Yeah, and the thought of the taste is so strong.
Right. But if you can observe wanting, and I mean, you were here last month when we did the intro and we experienced that wanting, and you can really realize that the wanting is uncomfortable. It's kind of miserable. Like we think the wanting is nice because what we want seems nice, but the wanting itself is really stressful. I mean, if you think about something that you want, that you're pining for, that you know that you're working towards, if you feel in your body how it feels to want that, it's really not a good feeling. And so when you become mindful of wanting, you have the choice of continuing to perpetuate the wanting by acting on it, or to notice the wanting. On that second retreat where I experienced another crush, and I had like many retreats in between where I didn't, just so you think I don't do that. But I was having a lot of suffering on this particular retreat. A lot of suffering, a lot of just childhood memories haunting me and physical pain haunting me, and I was just really miserable. And so it was really useful for me to try to throw in something to my mind that seemed like I could enjoy it. So again, another crush arose. And like I said, I kept judging myself for having the crush because I knew better. And so I finally went to my teacher and I said, look, this is what's going on. I know I shouldn't be having this. It's a wanting. I'm aware of it, but I can't seem to let it go because it's fun. And he said, are you sure it's fun? And I said, well, it must be fun. Why else would I be doing it? And he said, pay attention. Really pay attention. The next time that wanting arises, see if the wanting is pleasant or unpleasant. So I did. And the next time it arose, I felt the wanting, the yearning, the longing, the fantasy. It did not feel good. It did not feel good. Never came back. That's insight.